leading the effort to place it at the center of conversation in my own country at that time. But most professionals in that era didn't care about what was going on. We had people with good jobs, not like today. They had decent jobs. They were thriving in their field of endeavor. And so, indifference and apathy to anything that had to do with governance was what obtained. And by the way, it was an era where your parents told you, if your head is not correct, by the time I slap you twice, it will be correct. Because if you go jumping out there to say you're fighting military, you are on your own. So people learned how to keep quiet. And that was what it was. But something happened with the 92 elections. Professionals came together and formed what became known as concerned professionals. Is there anyone in this hall who remembers concerned professionals? Just a few hands, maybe about 5, 6 people. But enough is enough. Is a latter day concerned professionals. Because concerned professionals was made up of people like Atelo Peter Sack, was made up of people like Kato Tono, Aswe Godaro, Maureen Babalola, Ano Igodaro, and just, through, and many other professionals like that. Waziri Ibrahim, who died in that air crash some years ago, chairman of railway, was. In fact, I don't know whether some of you who probably are on social media, at the time that I celebrated, I think it must have been my last birthday, Jibo Ibrahim. How many of you know Professor Dr. Jibo Ibrahim? Yes. Jibo Ibrahim took to Twitter to talk about me in the light of concerned professionals. Aisha, you're laughing. Did you read it? Yes. Because what we observed at that time was that concerned professionals seemed to be so dominant in the southern part of the country. As a matter of fact, metropolitan Lagos. You didn't get the same level of passion for the issues of democratization and governance in the southwest. We didn't see it much in the southeast. We didn't see it at all in the north, except for somebody like Waziri, who at that time lived in Lagos. So we decided to go on the mission that I led. And so we arrived in those days of very tough era of military rule. And we arrived at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And I had been told by my friends that the person who would help us organize concerned professionals and get professionals of northern expert to be part of that movement was Jibo Ibrahim. So I arrived to Jibo's living room and said, I am here to ask you why you guys are not concerned about the annulment of the elections. Why are professionals in the northern part of the country not protesting along with us for this election to be recognized? Because it satisfied every criteria of a well-conducted election. And he looks at me. I was younger then. That's to say to me that I still think I'm young now. It's when he was I was younger. And I said to him that just guys tell me when we're ready so my story can stop. The tech people, please tell me when we're ready. Once we're ready, that's the end of the story. You will have to come and look for me to get the rest. 5 more minutes. So Jibo said to me, young woman, can you imagine? Says to me, young woman. I was told we have a mutual friend in Shehu area. Was told that you are in the financial services sector. What is it? Is chartered accountant, someone in the banking system, doing in the university at this time of the night? talking about 1992 elections. And I said to him, do you like bad governance? Are you comfortable with us continuing to be the way we've been? Should we accept that this is our lot? Well, if you don't, then I have come to see you with my colleague. I went with Aswe Igodan. And we said, that's why we're here. We're here to have a conversation that militarization has done too much harm to our society, and we must not allow that to continue. And that the issue of the 1993 elections are not about the individual. The issue is about the idealism that a democratic right that is inalienable to us is being violated, and we would all dare to just keep quiet. We choose not to keep quiet, and that's why we're here. So Jibo looked at me and said, "Oh, sit down." And I sat down, and the rest was history, because we expanded the scope of our reach, and that's a different subject. So when I look at enough is enough, I have a mom who always said that when a young woman looks at her mom, she assumes that she was never like her, because her mom is looking many children out of the way, and many other vicissitudes of life beating her into all kinds of changes. And so the young woman assumes, what does Mama do? Well, enough is enough. Rights on the shoulder of a group like concerned professionals and what it did, even in the era of military rule. In those days, we used to be beaten. You call it SARS, we didn't know it as SARS. It was called kill and go. How many of you remember? There are so many young people in this place. You know, I'm actually telling a history class. It's like I'm teaching a history class. Is it like a history class? Yes. Amazing. Wow. I'm old though. It happened so quickly, because it's true. It was called kill and go. We would come out on the day of our march, professionals. Hey, I can see the former minister, Frank Weke. You see the way he's dressed? This guy is always resplendently turned out. That way he's dressed is the way professionals of that era. You know, it's not this anyhow Friday that they do in this generation. If you were, you would be so corporately dressed. And we would go like that out on the street. It was a new thing. And they would come after us, beat us up. You know the phone that existed at that time? It used to be called Not Very Much. And it was only professionals of that era that had, because it was a status symbol also. It really was. Oh, you know, business, you put your phone in your handbag. In that era, oh, you have to carry it like this one. So those phones would be knocked off our hands, tear gassed, because we said we would stand. I don't know any of you in this hall that knows Palaminu Ajayi. Is there anyone who knows Palaminu Ajayi? You know him? Palaminu Ajayi, he died, I think, 2 years ago, or was it last year? Dr. Connie Sola Ajayi's father. Connie was part of us in concerned professions. And Palaminu Ajayi would come out as the only old person. When we would have a match, Palaminu Ajayi would be like almost the first person, because we would start at the Methodist church premises in Lagos. So he would come out, and Palaminu Ajayi just took some liking to me. And one of the days, we came out to do a march. And to that particular day, they really came out in their numbers. And with what you know today, as the ABCs and then the canisters and everything. It was terrible. And the professionals were a bit intimidated. That one was particularly intimidating. So our leader at that time was a certain gentleman, I'm going to swear his name. And when he saw it, he said to us, I don't think we should do anything today. We should just go back. I'm expecting him. I don't think that's an option. If we should go back, we shall forever keep going back. We must stand on the basis of our fundamental rights to protest. Very good. Story over. Let's go to open up this one there. But simply to end that story by saying to you that this certain gentleman said to me, oh, I admit I'm a coward. I'm not going to go forward with this. So I said to him, what if I stood in front? Would it be okay? And he said, you don't want to do that. I said, no, let's do it. I would stay in front. And those who want to go back can go. Whatever number we are that don't go back, we will proceed. And he gave me the banner. I took the banner and I started walking. And I have to tell you that majority of the men decided not to go back. Because the idea that a Nigerian woman took the banner and decided to go forward with those monstrous looking kill and go made them to swallow their pride and to say we're all going. So we got a march and that's it. What's the moral of this story? It's been a long time that the journey for good governance started. It is sad that that journey continues. But you know what is not sad? What is not sad is that you're here today for us to redefine the journey and the destination. So, I want to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the summit of the alternatives, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, who is of course named after a most distinguished son of Africa. Are we good? Ezekiel, are we good?
Go to turn off the ladies so that it's brighter.
Okay. Are we good? We're not good. Professor Lumumba is not coming on.
We can't connect to him at the moment.
You can still not connect to him.
No.
How many more minutes?
We're not sure. Maybe we just go to our regional speakers and then come back
To him?
to him, yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap the ordering of our program. Is that okay? Please understand with us, cooperate with us. We will do this as efficiently as we can. So we're going to, I will hand over again now to Adora, and we'll start our regional speeches. What we've done is to have a cast of very interesting Nigerians with a point of view on what the picture of a new Nigeria could be, coming into the conversation from different thematic areas. Thank you very much again, and I hope that my story inspired some of you in some way to stand for your conviction. God bless you.
Thank you for that inspiring history. Please another round of applause for her. Going straight to our first speaker, we have a man who barely needs no introduction for the initiated. And when I say initiation, I don't mean the occult or the cult. I mean, that's literally saying, we're talking about pro-Nigerians, people who are visionary and believe in Nigeria. He's a seasoned software engineer, a semantic web architect, and an all-round tech evangelist. He has over 2 decades of experience in the industry. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do welcome. Have we been able to connect?
Yes, we have.
Yes,
Thank you.
Excellent.
It's okay now.
Thank you very much. We can see it's okay. We can see my brother.
Are you able to see, bro?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Excellent. Please welcome Prof.
Yeah, I hope technology will not let us down.
We hope so. We have waited.
And that we have occasion to interact meaningfully.
Excellent. Excellent. So let me introduce you. Not that you need introduction. In this your second country. Professor P.L.O. Lumumba is Kenyan. He's Kenyan by birth. He was born on the 17th of July, 1962. He received his degree in law and his master's degree in law at the University of Nairobi. Are we okay? And it was followed by a PhD in law at the in the laws of the sea at the University of Ghent in Belgium. An advocate of the High Courts of Kenya and Tanzania, and law lecturer at the Faculty of Law. Professor Lumumba is one of the trustees and executive directors of the African Institute of Leaders and Leadership, Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, starting. How will you guys are ready?
Thank you very much.
So join me.
Let me apologize.
Yes.
At my inability to join you in person this afternoon. But let it go on record that I associate myself with the initiative that you have launched on this occasion, particularly at this time, not only in the history of Nigeria. I've always felt that Nigeria succeeded very much. Those in the know will tell you today that out of every 5 Africans, 1 is a Nigerian. And for that reason, both the political and economic value of Nigeria cannot be denied or gainsaid. Which begs the question, what must Nigeria do as a condition precedent to the success of Africa? I remember not so long ago reading a book by a great Indian nationalist, C.J. Rajagopalatari, and he said that whenever politics stumbles, the country begs. And indeed, one can say that part of the problem that Africa has experienced is that our politics has lacked the critical ingredient of what I have described elsewhere as hygiene. I have no doubt in my mind until the day that the African politician, and therefore by extension, the African recognizes that politics must be adapted in an hygienic way, Africa will never realize our potential. I remember so very vividly writing in 1983, a great Nigerian whom all of us ought to recognize and celebrate, Chinua Achebe, wrote the book, The Trouble with Nigeria. And in that book he said, and I agree with him, at least as at that time, that the problem of Nigeria is simply and squarely a problem of mobility. That is a statement that speaks about Africa in my cause. Today, therefore, we must ask ourselves the evergreen question: where did the rain start beating us? Because I remember so very vividly, in 1963, when African leaders assembled in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the 32 of them, they were as eloquent as they were passionate. They were as passionate as they were correct. That Africa needs to be led by men and women who love their nations. And one can argue that in your own country, in those early days, when one listened to your first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe, he made sense. When one listened to Abubakar Tafawa, your first prime minister, he made sense. When one listened to the Sultan of Sokoto, Sahamadu Bello, he made sense. And one can extend this argument beyond Nigeria and say that in Mali, Modibo Keita made sense, Kwame Nkrumah made sense, but no sooner had the gains of independence been realized than we started seeing a new spectre. The spectre of coup d'etat, the entry of the men in arms into the political arena. And I dare say, without fear of contradiction, that is when the rain started beating us. We have tried over the years, and indeed it was an introductory statement of many a coup leader that theirs was only a transition, and they had no shortage of names. National election comes, national reconciliation comes. But we know that they never redeemed us, nor reconciled us. But I want to submit to us that Nigeria occupies such an important place, not only in Africa, but in the world. And if you doubt me, you tell me. And you must only disagree with me if you have evidence, which I suspect you don't. There are critical moments in the history of Africa. Nigeria has been the leader in producing some of the greatest thinkers. When you think of literature, who among you will not remember Wole Soyinka? Who among you will not remember Chinua Achebe? Who among you will not remember Sikian Ekwensi? Who among you will not remember Flora Nwapa? And who among you live today can't forget Mama Dangote? It is a fact which Nigeria has been the leader. In the world of film and cinematography, it is now recorded that Nollywood produces the largest number of films other than Bollywood. And if it is the quantity that we are celebrating, I who watches Nigerian movies occasionally, I can see that there is now an infusion of Bollywood. And if you travel around the world, some of the leading professionals in the medical profession, in the legal profession, in the engineering profession are Nigerians. And if one leaves that arena, one goes into the regional environment in which Nigeria sits, you will recognize that Nigeria is the leader in that regard, and on the few occasions that Nigeria has demonstrated leadership, the neighbors have been at peace and at ease. I remember not so long ago when Liberia was in the throes of a civil war, and the Nigerian political leadership provided the leadership to ECOWAS. And today we can talk about a stable or a stabilizing Liberia. I remember there was a time when there was instability in Sierra Leone. And I remember that the Nigerian leaders came out and said, not in our neighborhood. And we can recognize some sanity has been restored. I remember not so long ago in the Gambia, when the leader said with one side of the mouth that he had lost the election and with the other side of the mouth that he had not lost the election. When the Nigerians came out, he ran away and is now sitting ensconced in Equatorial Guinea, and we can talk of normalcy in the land. This is a clear demonstration that whenever Nigeria has provided leadership, the African continent has always occupied a pride place. If you allow me, even in the arena of football, at critical moments when the Green Eagles were soaring as they should, they were the pride of Africa. One is therefore saying without fear of contradiction that the only thing that continues to hold Nigeria down are the political elite, who, in my view, ought to liberate themselves from the prison, who liberate themselves from the politics of money and money birds, who want to liberate themselves from short-termism, who want to recognize that political leadership is a position of trusteeship, who want to recognize that true leadership is such, who want to recognize that when they leave Nigeria, they are also leading us. And that is why I have no doubt in my mind that you men and women who are assembled today in Abuja, Nigeria, under the aegis and the theme of the Summit for Alternatives are doing the right thing. You are assembled in Abuja to send an unequivocal message to the Nigerian politician, to the Nigerian voter, that the time has come that we must throw aside the things that have held us down. The time has come that we must recognize that what Nigeria does is important to Africa. The time has come that Nigerians and Nigerian leaders must recognize that when Nigeria sneezes, Africa touches at home. The time has come that the Nigerian leadership must recognize that Nigeria ought to be the political mecca to which we pay pilgrimage. That Nigeria ought to be the Jerusalem that we ought to visit occasionally in order to pay homage. That Nigeria should, in a manner of speaking, be the byword for Africa. That Nigeria must be Africa in microcosm. But I have no doubt in my mind that when the Nigerian leader wakes up to this reality, Africa will be great. So, ladies and gentlemen, when an issue is as obvious as the potential risks of Nigeria, why should we belabor the point? Is it not the great Wole Soyinka, in his great book, Amanda, who said that we must not allow the man of in us to die, not in so many words, but by dint of interpretation. So we who are sitting in Abuja today, and you who know that Africa is a continent under siege, this is the time. This is the time for Nigeria to provide leadership in politics. This is the time for the Nigerian Senate. This is the time for the Nigerian President. This is the time for the Nigerian Member of Parliament. This is the time for the Nigerian local leader to liberate themselves from short-termism. This is the time for the Nigerian leader to recognize that politics must be sanitized. Because when politics is sanitized, then the entire society is sanitized. This is the time that Nigeria must know that our economy must grow, that our GDP can no longer be held down at $500 billion, but that Nigeria should be a $3 trillion GDP economy. This is the time that Nigeria must lead the revival of our textile industry. This is the time that Nigeria must make sure that our oil industry is developed so that she does not produce crude oil and export crude oil and import refined oil. This is the time that Nigeria must improve agriculture. This is the time that Nigeria must improve our health so that our president does not sojourn in foreign government. The time is now, and if we don't seize the moment, then we are doomed. And I must agree with the writer of the Bible that there is a time for everything. This is the time for everything. I must agree with English writer William Shakespeare that in the affairs of man there is a tide which, if taken abreast, leads to great fortune. But if taken on the nose, it leads to great sorrows. Nigeria, lead us, because your leadership is the missing link in Africa's greatness. Long live Nigeria, long live.
Even if it doesn't get us, we need to put it on record that we Nigerians are very grateful to Professor Lumumba for awakening in us that sense that we are not trapped in mediocrity and underperformance. What he has done is to tell us that there's actually truly a giant in us. And it is time to stop being dwarfs. So let us acknowledge that great speech that on your behalf, as an audience, we would send a message to Professor Lumumba that he has stirred something in all of us. Thank you very much, guys. And now we can continue with the speeches from the regional speakers. God bless you.
Please another round of applause for Professor. I'm sure a lot of people here have goosebumps. Yes. In fact, there is a reawakening in the whole, I sense, going on, of both our conscious and our mind and our psychology. And I take one thing from him. He said, Nigeria is the missing link to Africa's greatness. If we don't seize the time now, we are doomed. Permit me to call on Emeka Okoye, who's going to be taking us through his keynote speech. I was earlier introducing him. He is a seasoned software engineer, semantic web architect, and an all-round tech evangelist. And yes, he has over 2 decades of experience in the industry. At the time when computer revolution was just kicking off in Nigeria, that was around the early 90s, Emeka was fortunate to work in a company where he actively participated in the revolution. And over the years, he has co-founded quite a few of internet companies, including Nigeria Exchange, possibly Nigeria's earliest startup in 1996, and XeroxNigeria.com, one of, if not, Nigeria's first e-commerce website in 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Emeka Okoye to the podium. Please a round of applause.
Powerful speech. I pray you guys don't jump in with that speech. But we have to get our leadership back. But let me start on a sad note. 60% of our present jobs are susceptible to be taken over by robots. There's a phenomenon going on in the world. Sadly, I have only 20 minutes to deal with this, so I'm going to try my best, to hit on the potential. So right now, today, we are at risk. We might not attain that leadership Professor Lumba was talking about, except if we start charting our future today. So I'm going to show you what we actually start and what we could do to avert the impending disaster. So every analyst has predicted for Nigeria that 60% of the jobs will be gone in 2030. And unfortunately, Nigeria is a country that has a lot of low-skilled human force. So the potential for Nigeria to unleash new economic possibilities is at risk. Currently, we have a large army of unemployed youths in Africa. Sadly, Nigeria is the fastest growing country by population in the world. We grew by 97% in the last 10 years. Nigeria is the fastest growing poverty population. Nigeria has a very low industrial base. There are very few activities in the value chain. And the reality is that we have cheap industrial robots coming into the country, taking over the jobs. Presently in the food and beverage sector in Nigeria, specifically Keja, Amuwa, Jofi, and some part of industrial layouts in the northern part of Nigeria, robots are taking over jobs. If I go to a state where NLC had to petition the president, bad move. Petitioning the president to stop the robots from coming. Okay, so Nigeria has a workforce of around 74 million. And 30% are in agriculture. A further 25% is in retail, maintenance, and repair. Then we have the white-collar jobs, telecom 1.8%, finance and insurance 4.2%, and our unemployment is 16%. From this, you find out that a lot of sectors will be wiped out if the robots continue to come. 60% of the population is under 25. So again, that has to do with something to do with our educational level. Our human capital index currently, sub-Saharan Africa is 55%. Global average is 65%. Nigeria is 49%. As it is, Nigeria has no answer for what is about to happen. Let me explain what is going on. This fourth industrial revolution is powered by artificial intelligence. But it has the most important resource, and which is the most valuable resource in the world, and that is data. It's very key. Without data, our future is doomed. AI will transform economies. They will accelerate global innovation and productivity. Scientists from all fields will research, develop, test, and accurately assess hypotheses at a fraction of time consumed today. Innovation will flourish, and a plethora of high-quality devices will pour into markets, making technology more accessible and increasing computer literacy nationwide. However, as artificial intelligence spreads deeper into economies, it will force jobs out. It will force jobs out of existence, making thousands of occupations obsolete. Humans will not be able to compete with their computerized opposition. If the future of artificial intelligence continues down this path, technology will reduce demand for low-skilled labor and obstruct opportunities to retrain, posing devastating consequences to our economy and society. Let me explain. What the robots are doing is that the routine jobs that add no value, especially that does not require any cognitive capabilities, can be done better by robots. I mean, you will have people like moving boxes in warehouses. You don't need humans to do that because robots will do it in 4 hours non-stop. No one will complain about backache, that the grandmother died, he has to go home. He needs to go and treat the children and all that. Robots are very cheap. One of the solutions we developed for a client to clean the floors, we have vacuum robots. And they cost 65,000 naira. We bought it at Ikeja. We deployed 5 in an office where they employed 10 cleaners. 8 cleaners were removed, 2 were retained. And those 2 that were retained had to be trained on how to manipulate the robots to clean the rooms. So that means they require digital skills. So now, why we are at this position today? Normally, every society's aspiration are meant to be defined in their universities. What we've never done throughout the past 30, 40 years is to define what our future will be and define the kind of actors that will take us to that future and the actors that will play at our future. We never did. We have an educational system that was created, designed by colonials. How do we then lead? Remember, the reason why they designed the system was for us to follow instruction. It's not for you to think, because, they are not interested in your thoughts. So that's why, the average Nigerian graduate will come out, and the first thing he will do is to look for that uncle that is connected to somebody that owns an oil company, or that knows the president or governor or whatever. We can't do things on our own. So we are still carrying around the colonial's curriculum. So now we need to define. We see this in formula. So the 4th industrial revolution is for us to now use our cognitive futures. We need to start doing critical thinking. We have to forget about routine work. So it's critical we change our educational system today. That's the only way we can get that pathway to leadership in Africa. So right now we can't solve any of our problems, which we haven't solved. Our graduates have not solved our electricity problem in the past 40 years. We haven't solved our food security problem in the past 40 years. We haven't solved our road problem. You notice we build roads, and after 2 rainy seasons, they give way. But it's the same rain that we see in Europe and America. And they build roads that last for 40 years. So we need to go and define what our educational system should do for us. Sadly, our former leaders have not trained people that take over from them. But because they don't have plans of leaving, they left the educational system to continue with what our colonial masters made it for. So now, we can turn artificial intelligence around to make Nigeria the leader in Africa. One of the things that is happening today, which most of you might not know, is that we have what we call colonization 2.0 going on. So Africa right now is being colonized digitally by platforms. And when we say platforms, we talk of the big technology systems like Google, Facebook, and Co. Facebook has around 20 million Nigerians on his platform. Last year, he earned over $2 per head from advertising. So that means from Nigeria, they made $40 million from Nigerians. Nigerian government doesn't know about this. Nigerian government is not collecting the tax, but it's our data. We all know what happened to Russia when Russia had access to American data, so they could manipulate the election. This morning, there's Georgia. It's happening in Georgia, or I think it was last night. So now, data is now sovereign. I don't know whether we know. Data is sovereign. Data is infrastructure. Data is resource. Data is an asset. So we have to take data very seriously. Our future is in data. And the first thing that needs to be done for us to get back to the right path is first, we need to have the right kind of government. The government that will feel sensitive to data. So when they hear that 60% of Nigerians are going to lose their jobs, then they'll start asking questions. You don't need to know. You just need to ask questions. Why, how, when, what. At that point, they will not realize that presently, all the children in all primary and secondary schools today are likely not to do the course they intend to do today, because most of the courses and discipline will be wiped out by 2030. So that means our educational system was not made for what is about to happen. Right now, the world needs AI research. Presently, we have 300,000 AI researchers in the world. There is a province in China right now that's offering $1 million, I think $1 million for them to relocate researchers, and they need 1 million in the next 5 years. So right now, there's not enough. That information is online. Nobody from government has asked, how can we tap into this? So see, first we need a government. And when I say government, I'm not saying presidency, I'm not saying legislature. I'm saying everybody. That's from civil service to judiciary to presidency to the legislature. We all have work. So, we have so many problems presently, and data can solve this problem. Now, what am I saying is data? Data is like ledger. Data representing our behavior. Data doesn't happen. It's just an observation of events. Observation of what we do, what we say, what we don't like. I was lucky to start on the internet in the early days. Like it was mentioned, I created Nigeria's first startup in '96. So that's 2 years, less than 2 years after the internet became mainstream. So I've been developing on the internet way before then. And what we saw the internet about is that the internet will have a lot of information on what led to prosperity in the developed world. And then those from the undeveloped world can learn from those information. So as people push information onto the internet from the developed world, then we from the undeveloped world will learn from those. But what we didn't know was that the rate of data production would be too high. No human can keep up. So data from the internet led to where artificial intelligence is today. So we need artificial intelligence to augment us. AI is supposed to make us look better. And the only way we can look better is that we and algorithms or machines need to speak the same language. And that same language will come from what we are being taught from our educational system. So fundamentally, we need new set of skills, new set of understanding, new set of educational institutions, and new set of people who understand how to take advantage of this new phenomenon to solve problems like e.g. food security, Right now, I can think of how data can be used to solve issues of food. Moving food from farms to the city is a very big challenge. But algorithms could do that easily for us. Right now, we are losing, like for tomatoes, we are losing 60% of tomatoes. And you can imagine for other crops. So government needs to take data very serious and start supporting initiatives like the open data. Governments all over the world are the biggest producer of data. So they have data about the problems of Nigeria. They have data of opportunities. They have data on everything. And data could be used as seed capital for new enterprises coming in. Now, as you all know, Nigeria has a lot of enterprises, but 98% of our enterprises are locked up in the micro SMEs. That's not a very good position for us to start thinking of attaining leadership in Africa. So we need to start maturing some micro SMEs and start building some large companies. Facebook is a company that is worth billions of dollars and is less than 20 years old. And all Facebook uses is data, other people's data, including Nigeria's data. So same way, same phenomenon we can do in there. So government can make artificial intelligence transform Nigeria in positive ways. They need to craft strategies, provide favorable policy environments, regulatory framework that safeguards responsible AI, while supporting the capabilities of AI innovation. Since data has been a key factor behind recent advances, Nigerian government can unlock troves of taxpayer-funded data that could propel and accelerate AI solutions to all our problems. We can use AI to augment us to solve our problems. Everything from health, agric, to name it. Putin mentioned recently that the country that leads in AI will rule the world. So this is an opportunity for us. It doesn't matter if we are late in the party. We can strive to be like China and end up to be like Canada. Canada right now is number 3 in the world of AI. So, just to round up, another important thing I want to talk about is government also needs to improve on moving all these services digitally. I'm going to use one as an example, as a very bad example of digital service. So you want to go and register for your passport. You first go online, print out the form, you now put it in a file and start moving. We all need to be online, and there's a reason why we have to be online. If we are all online, then that means businesses from other clients can see us and order for what we offer. That way, it improves our GDP, it improves businesses in between the countries. Thank you very much.
Data is infrastructure, data is access, data is development. Please another round of applause for that. That was Emeka Okoye talking to us about governance and prosperity in the age of fourth industrial revolution. Quickly in ahead, our next speaker, I'm sure doesn't need a lot of introduction. However, permit me to introduce you to her in a nutshell. She has worked in several projects in the public and private sector, including corporate and regulatory practice, business management and administration. She is a Nigerian lawyer, an author, a journalist, and a politician known for her work on good governance, gender equality, women's economics, and political participation. In 2014, she contested the primaries for a seat at the National Assembly on the platform of Nigeria's ruling party at that time, but lost, leading to her book, Love Does Not Win Election. The The book is about her experiences in the electoral process. And as she has let the cat out of the bag by standing there, please, ladies and gentlemen, do welcome Aisha Story to the podium. Please, a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thought I was going to be radical today and say I'm not going to observe any protocols, but there were no protocols observed anyway. So well done to the Summit on Alternatives. We really started at the new Nigeria, yes. No protocols observed, but I do want to say warm greetings to the most important office in Nigeria, the Office of Citizen. A wise person once said to me that a person with no work cannot have a conscience. I don't know if that's true, but it's something we should think about. Can a person without a job and a person that cannot feed themselves have dignity? Can they have a conscience? Can people who have been socialized and educated and acculturized to be suspicious of each other and distrustful of each other, can they come together and work together? And can bad policy ever be successfully implemented? If bad policy, can it have good results? Professor Lumumba had already preempted me by mentioning Achebe. It's cliche, when we talk about leadership in Nigeria, we always have to talk about Achebe. I was supposed to talk about governance, human dignity, and social cohesion. And for me, the thread between these three things is leadership. And so in thinking about leadership, I definitely recalled what Achebe said 35 years ago, which tragically is still true. And what he said was that the trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. And so it made me wonder if this comment is still valid today, 35 years later. Why are we so good at failed leadership? Why are we so good at having failed leadership? I think there are two answers. There are probably more, but two that I'm touching today are.
Sorry,
the first reason
let that guy take over a camera.
the reason for being in leadership in the first place.
Just pray so that he watch what he's doing.
What's
Take over.
the reason? What's the essence? of
Please,
being in
so that you
leadership?
take over for him.
That's the first one. And the second one is the problem with our leadership recruitment process. So the two are timed. The first is that what does leadership mean? What's leadership for in Nigeria? What's the benefit? What's the ethos? What's the focus of leadership in Nigeria? And that determines how we recruit our leadership. And that explains why it says 5 years after that statement, we're still talking about lack of leadership, failed leadership, bad leadership. So I want to talk about three things with my 20 minutes. The first one is in line with the theme for alternatives. How can we change the incentives for being in government? Because if we change the incentives for being in government, we might be able to change our leadership recruitment process. We'll be able to change the reason for leadership in the first place. So what are current leaderships? What's it designed for? What's our government designed for? Because the government is designed to be exploitative. It's designed to extract. It's designed to squeeze us. It's rent-seeking. And we pretend that our leadership is selected based on representation, ethnicity, religion. But the real thing, the real qualifying criteria is that you will lead if you're going to maintain status quo. If you're going to maintain the extractive system that has run for decades, that's what will really qualify you for leadership. So I'll give just one example with our government. I think the Nigerian government is the biggest business in Nigeria. I don't care what anybody says about Dangote. His money relies on government patronage. His success has relied on government patronage. And so the biggest business in Nigeria, the fastest way to be wealthy, our diamond, our lucky chance is to get into government. And so because that is the mind, that's the golden ticket to success, that's why it attracts the worst type of people. So our government is too big and it's too expensive. We have over 200 million people and growing. They say by 2050 we will be the third largest population. I'm guessing that's after China and India. And yet right now we spend over 60% of our revenue paying about 1 million people. Over 60%. When I talk about exploitative, I just want to give an example. Lately, JAM and customs have been in the news. Apologies to anybody who works there or whose family members work there. But customs and JAM have been very proud of the fact that they've been increasing revenue. They've been increasing the amount of money they get. And you think about JAM and say, is that the qualifying criteria for JAM? Should it be the ease with which students are registering, with which students are taking exams, with which students are accessing their results and getting into university? Should it be the ease with which JAM is negotiating with universities and helping universities be more productive? Or is it about collecting money, which is again the extractive system? We're already poor and impoverished. But JAM is proud of the fact that it's extracting even more money to go towards paying the 1 million people who work for government. The 1 million people who take 60% of our revenue for themselves. And then when you think about our obligatory spending, we find that we're spending over 100% of what we earn on maintaining our government. Let me give a very simple example. So you have a family of 4, mother and father, and two children who have 100 naira on average every month. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but on average it's 100 naira. You spend 50 naira paying down your interest and your debt. You're left with 50, right? Then you have your mommy and daddy, the breadwinners, have to spend 60 naira on their allowances, just going to work, coming back, going to earn that 100 naira. So that comes already to 110. So you're already in debt. That's Nigeria. And so we borrow money to maintain government, a very expensive government. Yes, Africa is great. I listened to Professor Nicolas' speech and I thought to myself, yeah, Nigeria is great, but actually what it is that Nigerians are great. Nigerians do great things, but not the country. We succeed in spite of the country, and that's why we do so well abroad, where there are things that work. So it's Nigerians that are special, not Nigeria. And it's Nigerians we're proud about, not Nigeria. And so when I think about how much money we're borrowing, then that's when you factor in corruption, and then you factor in the fact that even when we want to invest, people are still using the family model. So you're borrowing money to go to school, to eat, and hopefully to invest, because you think to yourself, I need to invest money so I can build my way out of this poverty. But then you decide to use your borrowed money for things like Nigeria Air, which is a total vanity project. So it's a waste of money. Money that is very hard. So that's the way to think about Nigeria and how exploitative it is and how it keeps attracting the worst of us to leadership. So we need to change the incentives for government. We need to change incentives for being in government. But that's where the catch-22 starts. Will the people in government today change these incentives by themselves? No. So but how do we get in? Will they let us in? No. So that's the catch-22. So they're never going to change the incentive because it works for them. They're never going to let people in who want to change the incentives. So it's war. It has to be war. In thinking about the time that we need, this time is now. And the last 2 speakers have talked about it. We don't have any more time to waste. And so that comes to the second thing, the second alternative for us to think about. And that's participating in politics. Because it's only through participating in politics that we can take back the country from the people that have held it down. And what is participating in politics? It's beyond voting. It's great that many of us are excited about voting. It's fantastic. But the numbers still show that on average, less than 50% of those who have their PPCs or who are registered are coming out to vote. So voting is not a magic bullet. We need to look at participating in terms of joining parties. There are two ways of thinking about participating in politics. The first is for civil society people like me. I smiled when I was introduced as a politician. I'm not a politician. I was an undercover operative. And if you read my book, you will know that no serious politician writes the things I do. Because I've burnt all those bridges. So I'm not a politician. So there are two tracks for us to participate in politics meaningfully with an aim for an alternative. The first is to fight for electoral reform. We have to ask ourselves, why are elections so expensive? Why are they so ridiculously expensive? Social media was buzzing yesterday with the fact that, again, it seems, the Electoral Act has not been signed. But yet, the implication of not signing, many implications, but one implication is that the card reader and the data that comes from card readers will not be admissible during elections. It happened in 2015. And if we don't put the card reader into the law, amongst other things, because I hear that's also not the golden bullet, but if we don't do that, then we're also going to find that after the 2015 elections, people who want to go to court will not be able to rely on that data. But yet, we want to spend $700 million. Remember my first example of an extractive state. We want to spend $700 million on improving the card readers that are not going to be into law. That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. It's a scam. So really, one track for participating in politics is that some of us are going to keep fighting for electoral reform. How do we make elections cheaper? How do we make registering to vote? I'm sure how many people may have horror stories from registering to vote? How many people? Horror stories. People who wake up at 6 a.m. and they're number 400 on the list. Who go there and they say there's no paper, there's no registration form. Who have to pay 5,000 because it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon and they have to go to work. Why must it be so difficult to exercise the right to vote? It's all part of the extractive system. So how do we make registration less of an event? How do we make elections less of an event? The only reason that PDP and APC, and I'm just using them as an example, if we go back to SDP, NRC, if we go back to NPN, UPN, it's the same model. Our model for parties has never changed. So we're using APC and PDP today because they're the ones in power. The only thing that PDP and APC have over the other, I hear we have 91 parties, so now officially we have, so if you remove PDP and APC, what's the math on that? 89, excellent, thank you. The only difference that PDP, APC, and maybe AFGA have, the edge they have, is that they have access to public funds. That's all. That's the only thing they have. So how do we neutralize that power? It comes from us joining the parties. We have to join parties. Participating in politics in a different way, in an alternative way, is beyond discussing politics on social media. Retweeting funny cartoons. I'm guilty, I do that too. But it's beyond that. We have to join the parties because if we don't join the parties, we can't fund the parties. We cannot compete with government money. Don't forget, government is the biggest business. So the only way we can deal with this is hundreds of millions of us, well, not that many, tens of millions of us, joining parties, giving our 1,000 naira, and building our own watches. Because the only thing APC and PDP have over us is the money. They are the ones who have pushed for stomach infrastructure politics. They are the ones who have impoverished the people to see and buy. They are the ones who have made the majority of the population jaded and disinterested and disengaged because they have not been different. They have never been different. So that's where the answer lies for me. This second part, participating in politics in a way that's completely different from the way that we've done it before. And then we have to change the narrative for 2019 and beyond. As we tackle these things, as we push for electoral reform, for secret ballots, for every gain that the PDP and APC School of Politics push for us. So you see, we move from stomach infrastructure to see and buy. What's the difference between the two? The difference is that our ballots are not secret. So see and buy is to counter the narrative where we say, okay, take their money, but vote your conscience. So steal and buy has become a way of checkmating that aspect. It's no longer take the money from the voting conscience. It now becomes flash, which is the steal. You flash your ballot, or they follow you to steal your ballot, and then they pay you. So for every innovation we make to make our elections more legitimate, to make our votes count, they come up with a counter. So we ourselves have to always be planning and be one step ahead, which is why we need all of us in the parties. You know, it can't be just your PDCs. We also need to have people in the parties. And that brings me to the third thing that I thought about in terms of thinking about alternatives. And that's the numbers. We keep talking about our numbers. We have great numbers. But our numbers is a double-edged sword. If we don't use our numbers wisely, our numbers will also be our kryptonite. It will be our weakness. Now, I talked about social cohesion in the beginning, and I thought to myself, how do we come together when we've been so schooled to distrust each other and hate each other? Let's not pretend. We're all wearing clothes there. But when we're naked, we say hateful things about each other, about different ethnicities, about different religions, and we've been saying them to our children, we've been hearing them as children, and we're still saying them. So how do you come together? How do you bridge these years of mistrust and suspicion? I've run out of time, but for those of you who are on Twitter, check out a thread by Nwachukwu Emmanuel in June. He talked about, he's an Igbo boy who grew up in Lagos, growing up with ethnic slurs and stereotypes. And he confesses that he gives as good as he gets. So there will be the Igbo ones targeted at him, and he will give back the Yoruba ones. And then he moved to the southeast and thought he would be welcome because he's at home. But he was still an outcast. Why? Because he didn't speak Igbo with an Igbo accent. Because he came from a local government that was different from where the governor was from. And on and on and on. That's how we keep discriminating against each other. So how do we come together? Which is the third thing that I thought about for alternatives. We have to come together based on two things. A vision, a common purpose. And then the second thing is the values. What are our values? What are the things that we use to identify each other beyond being ethnic, Rupe, Gala, Idoma? What are the values we care about? And let me give you a clue. If you think here for alternatives, if you think here for an alternative narrative in Nigeria, an alternative politics, an alternative third force, alternative party, but you also think it's okay to go and visit an ex-minister or ex-president in Otta, or or you want to go and see a sitting governor and they give you money, transport, and you think it's okay to take it, they are not an alternative. They are the same. Alternative means doing things differently, thinking differently. We're all going to have to make sacrifices, and that's what I meant about values. Values are going to be the same. They're the only way that we can use to identify each other. Because as I said, when they know that we're building our power, when they know that we're coming together beyond all the diversions and all the claims on diversity and representation, they will infiltrate. And the only way you can support them is to be serious about your values. I often think about it. If you want to join RDB Golf Club, or you want to join even Equity Club, for example, I know elitists, yes, here we are again. But these groups, these clubs, have membership criteria. How is it possible that your political parties don't have any membership criteria? Everybody's welcome. Thieves, armed robbers, white beaters, they're all welcome as long as they have access to public funds. No, we have to ask ourselves, so you must be able to say, no, you're not welcome here. We can't be afraid to say you're not welcome here. Because your values don't match the values we're looking for. Because your antecedents don't match the values we're looking for. And so in putting all this together for 2019 and beyond, because we might not make everything we want in 2019, but I think we're on the right path by realizing that we have alternatives. And so for me, the advice, the hope is that we use these two things, the vision of what we want our country to be. Professor Lumba has laid out perfectly and beautifully for us. We know where we want to be, we know where we should be, but what is going to get us there? Common vision, common values that we do not negotiate on, that are not compromisable. We use that to assess the candidates that are coming forward in 2019. across the different parties, the 89 other parties. What do they stand for? What is their vision? What is their antecedents? We can't keep saying we're going to waste our votes. I know that there's a real fear that if you don't vote for the winning party, I know that those of us sitting here are comfortable, but the people in the villages, I know that for them it's an existential issue to not be in the winning party. Because if they're not in the winning party and people know you didn't vote for the winning party, all the good things, the crumbs from the table, will not get to you for 4 whole years. So I know that, we know that, we have to acknowledge this when we're planning. But at the same time, we're going to have to say to ourselves, it's okay for enough of us to waste our votes. Maybe there's enough of us that are not too hungry. Maybe there's enough of us who can fast. Maybe it's true now, since hunger is such a big issue. Maybe there's enough of us who can fast during the election so that we will not be distracted by sea and by and stomach destruction. Maybe we need to reach out to more of these people who never come out to vote. For me, that's where the power lies. And so my final word is going to be, please, let's love Nigeria, even though Nigeria hasn't loved us very well. Some of us have gotten more out of Nigeria, some of us have gotten little, some of us have gotten nothing. But if we don't love Nigeria before Nigeria loves us, we're going to end up with nothing. God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.
You know, one thing significant she said there, she said about the parties in the majority. They have access to public funds. That's the only advantage that they have over smaller parties. So if you want to be the alternative, if you want to change the way it has always been, join the other parties, participate in politics and make your voice count. Please, a round of applause for her. Our next speaker will be speaking on public sector, finance, and cost of governance. He is a man who was awarded the Future Awards Prize for Science and Technology Innovation in 2012 by the Future Awards. In 2011, he formed a team during a hackathon held at a co-creation hub. It was there he came up with the idea for the need to publicize government spending to the general public, leading to the startup of the budget. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a Nigerian entrepreneur. He's an open data analyst, popularly known as the co-founder and the CEO of Budget, Oluseun Onibinde. Please round of applause. Please, another round of applause as he approaches the podium.
Okay, thank you very, very much. I didn't think I was going to be the next person, so I was still juggling my thoughts, but I will put it down very well. I'm glad to be here to speak at the Summit of Alternatives. I know at the point Dr. Obi just came to me and said, "Sure, you can speak here." I said, leave me at the planning stage so you can say your mind too. And I'll put it around the fiscal issues that we have. And I also look at our cost of governance. For me, Emeka said something. Of all the countries in the world, only Nigeria and Saudi Arabia are growing at 2% plus in the next decade. So they're going to have so many people on their hands. And the question about it is that what are they going to do? Now, let's start with the fiscal structure, which is where budget works, which is where my own space is. What is the fiscal structure of Nigeria today? We did a bit of research with Gates Foundation, and we found out that Nigeria has one of the lowest tax to GDP in the world. Our tax to GDP is less than 6%. It will shock you that when we hit our budget at 8 trillion, 9 trillion, if you divide the Nigerian budget by the Nigerian people, it is less than 4,000 naira per person. That means if you're going to share the budget at its optimal stage, still less than 4,000 naira. So the idea that our public resources as it is right now, enough to scale us is a lie. Now, if you have so little and you waste so much, definitely you'll be left with nothing. And this is the situation of Nigeria as we found it right now. Just 2 weeks ago, I went to Igeti, so I was doing a tour of Oyo North and Dora districts. Maybe God is speaking to me somehow. And somehow the alternative is bubbling already. And I got to Igeti, and you can feel the shame of the people that they speak about those species in nostalgia, in very, very sad approach. And every place we went to, Ikoile, Ojewode, Igeti, Shaki, the common thing is that we have people, but they do nothing. We have Okada riders sitting under the shed and they do nothing. We have graduates, NC holders, and they practically do nothing. We don't have industries, so we practically have no way to work. The marble industry is gone and it's gone. Now the question is, we have resources in Nigeria, but we technically do nothing with it. I don't want to start about going to Dompedo space, but even if we are going to talk about what we have currently, so 75% of public revenue is coming from oil. Now, what have we done with oil itself? The way we have treated oil is being like a building where you bequeath to your children after you're gone. And the guy shows up every month and only picks up the rent. Or shows up every year, he doesn't clean up the building, he never repainted the building, he never checked if anything works in the building. So Nigeria has been producing, averaging around 2 million barrels, 1.82 million barrels for the past 25 years. And that means we have not even tried. That means everybody in the space has not been investing. We have not invested in the entire value chain, the entire pipeline that would give us resources or give us more taxes. We didn't build the hydrocarbon industry. We couldn't refine our own oil. We couldn't build the plastic industry. We couldn't even take the bitumen that we have in Ondo and build great infrastructure with that. So the question for me is that we have enough resources, but the know-how, the political leadership to organize them, we have not found that. So even our resources, so we talk about solid minerals today. I've been checked in Nigeria, but how much the richest man in this country is mainly rich because of solid minerals? Am I right? So how much does Nigeria take from limestone? How much does Nigeria pick up from cement? Next to nothing. So if the elite of the country that's supposed to signal how the resources of the country, they signal how the fiscal structure of the country should go, if they don't pay their fair share, how do we be the radical or the prosperous society? There is no way. And so for me, it starts about we have resources. The ones we have as oil, which we have generated over $1 trillion, is in a rent-seeking approach, which we only just pick up the rent on a monthly basis, organize around the table at fire, and we share. The second phases are the solid minerals that we practically left to artisanal structures. And we have left that to space that we likely could not tax them, so we can't even pick up any deal to finance or to finance government. Now, if we pick up on taxes, we may have 3 forms of taxes, if you allow me, which is VAT, CIT, the value-added tax, the company income tax, and the customs revenue. Now, think about it. Nigeria's value-added tax is less than 1 trillion naira annually. In fact, recently we moved to 1.2 trillion naira. Now, if you put that into perspective about how many Nigerians that we have, you will see that we still have 5% taxation, one of the lowest in the world. Our CIT also doesn't come good. It comes around 1.52 trillion naira annually. Now, the question you're going to ask is, if you take out non-oil from our tax structure, we have non-oil taxes. We are there around 3% of our GDP. So the best analogy I always have about Nigeria is someone that went to Harvard or picked up a clerical job in Oshodi. Because you have huge GDP, you have huge economy, but at the end of the day, your landlord knocks your door at the end of the month, but you cannot pay your rent. We cannot immunize our own children by ourselves. We need to depend on donors. We cannot even fund our entire arms of government. The federal government has resorted to large-scale overdraft from the Central Bank of Nigeria, which definitely is going to put our fiscal structure in crisis very, very soon. So the problem I'm coming to across to you is that's a side of it. We have resources on the ground. We have resources over the ground as people. We have one of the most robust, most intellectual diaspora markets in the world, but we take no advantage of that. We have people in Nigeria who try in other spaces, but we don't have a deliberate approach to bring them back. So we have resources, we don't organize them, we don't provide the political leadership to harness them, the entire value chain, and even bring revenue to the hands of God. We have agriculture as our largest point of GDP, but we don't extend the value to even to be able to tax and take resources from it. And so for me, if we are going to talk about the Nigeria that works, we need to have some deep-seated conversations about our fiscal structure. How do we build a system where there are enough resources in the pockets of government? And when we build that system, how are we going to be efficient enough? And if you look at us today, we have legitimized waste and corruption. Now I'm going to show you one, security votes. Now, there is no way you will find how much is governor or the president or a minister or even the commissioner pockets as security votes in this country. There is no way. You can find it in places where the purchase of security equipment, but it really doesn't carry it. And so you have governors taking between 400 to $1 billion monthly as security votes, discretionary. So you ask yourself, how much is the salary of the governor? Salary of the governor by the Revenue and Mobilization Accreditation Fiscal Commission is less than 2 million naira money. Because the salary of the president, even the president, around 2.3 million naira money. Does the government spend less than 2 million naira money? So the question is, we build pipelines of waste. And so when we talk about cost of governance, that's where we started. Then we have the National Assembly. The National Assembly spends 10 times an average investing in this country. Where you have 10 times or 15 times an average tertiary institution in this country. So when the Revenue Allocation Fiscal Commission writes what is supposed to be the allowance of the National Assembly member, they decide to write what is right for themselves. And that does not come in any form of accountability. So for me, we start with that. Then we talk about hate. The presidency today in a report has 118 aides. And you can believe me, each of those aides have their own offices too. And they also have their own assistant offices too. And also have people that have hangers on who just work around their offices too. So technically, the whole side of government is loaded. Every time you hear government to fly economy, you always want to feature that in flights. I just say the economy sits. The question is, we have a political elite that is entitled to our public resource. That doesn't see it as a form of trusteeship, as Professor Mbuna said. And every year, on our personnel costs, 1.8 trillion naira spent on an annual basis. We are not getting returns from that. We are not even given a system to say that this is going to be the quality of service that we are going to get from our civil service. 1.8 trillion naira spent on civil service annually, but we can't define the quality service that we deserve. So we go to hospitals, we go to schools, we still feel like it's not an obligation for people to do their work. So that's the kind of problem that we have. And that comes about how we do our budgeting. So look at our budgeting as of today. The Nigerian budget is just a contract vending machine. It has nothing to do with policy, it has nothing to do with programming. I think recently, just 2 days ago, ahead of the search said, we have been doing our annual review of budget. I think this time, let's look at the problems of Nigeria and per sector and see if the budget is addressing these issues. So if you look at health, what are the issues in health? Can you match the resources or the rate of allocations in health to the problems? You don't find that. So what you have is over 14,000 projects in the budget right now. The National Assembly itself introduced over 6,000 projects in the budget. Now, when you have 14,000 projects, how do you execute that? Within which size of resources? But the problem is that the budget that you see, every line item you see in the budget is governed by someone's personal interest. The borehole you see, the road you see, the school you see, it's like someone had allotted the contract to himself from the source, or herself from the source. So for me, the question about how we even do our budgeting is more on the side of money rather than the side of reasoning. Because we don't even think about what are the problems of our society and what's the mandate of each ministry. I ask myself, every time you see Cocoa Research Institute, Forestry Research Institute, in about over 8 research institutes. There's NISA, there's NIHOT, and there's VETS, and there's forestry, and there's cocoa, and it goes what exactly. And then we have allocations for personnel costs, they have overheads, and also you have capital items. But have we sat down and said what exactly is the outcome of this entire research? This entire research. We don't see that. And so for me, we don't, the political elite, the only space, when you think about our space, is what can they take, it's not what they can improve. And that's where we are. And the next phase about that is what exactly are we incentivized? So I've come with 3 issues, 3 things that we must go back. How do we incentivize competitiveness among states in Nigeria? We have to define that. We are not going to run away from that. We're going to run away from a system where we have a state like Oyo State having Mabu, but does nothing with it. A state called Home of Solid Minerals. Who can tell me which state is the Home of Solid Minerals? Yes. But Nasarawa cannot pay salaries today if back allocation is missed for a month. So the question we are going to ask ourselves is, states get good nameplates, but practically we deliver nothing. So for me, we will have to sit down that this, what a quick remark calls feeding bottle federalism. We will need to resolve that question in our minds. We will need to ask ourselves, how do we build states that think like countries? How do we build states that are able to sit down within resources of their entire environment and deploy that effectively? One of the most shocking experiences for me was going to the cattle ranch. I went there 2 months ago to train some state legislators, and it was the most horrible thing you can imagine. And we can't have the lights for 24 hours. The light goes up by 10 p.m. in the night. The entire environment, there is no Wi-Fi, there is no opportunity, there is nothing that can bring a tourist into that place. And government said, yeah, someone sets up that place for an opportunity. It will shock you that the governor of the state is what we do. The governor of the state himself. And he does nothing about changing that environment. And so the question I ask is, why would we change anything? He's not incentivized to change anything. Because there is a federal allocation account commission that shares oil receipts and prorated tax receipts every month. Until we destroy that, we are not going to change Nigeria. The second thing that we would have to do if we are going to build an alternative, how are we going to grow wealth in Nigeria? See, we cannot tax nothing. We cannot build something on nothing. We have the poverty capital of the world. We have the poorest number of people relatively in the world. Now think about that. Where are we going to take these taxes from? Is it about people that can barely feed? Is it about people that were trying to even offer 10,000 naira as a form of dignity? Is it about people that were trying to say the volunteer structure for your whole country is at 30,000 naira? The question is that wealth in Nigeria is wrongly distributed. And that's the first problem. And the second thing is we don't have enough wealth. In fact, the baseline in the country is so low. So how are we going to pick up tax bills to that? How do you build wealth in the country? You create pipelines of wealth. You create industry for people to work. You create environments for people to invest. You create opportunities to build new spaces in technology, in manufacturing, in small businesses. That's the way to go about it. So until you're able to build those wealth, until you're able to build an opportunity to say people can now have what we call taxable income. Because until we do that, we don't have human assets, we just have a huge population of people. We are going to have to build wealth, and we are going to have to effectively distribute it. We are going to stop opportunities where government entrepreneurs, are the only wealthy people in this country. What productive opportunity happens in Abuja?
beautiful buildings in Asoko, in Maitama, in all around the whole state here, and you ask yourself, what is the exact productive thing happening right there? Nothing. No, tell me, is there a solid thing right here? Is there a hall here? How many industries even exist here?
The national cake is here.
Oh, the national cake is here. And that's his real problem. We have become an extractive economy where few people have access to it here and they just wonder it for themselves. The third question that we must answer is who is in Nigeria? I ask this question, who is in Nigeria? We don't have the right data on Nigerians. So we have been shooting in the dark. We don't say, in any advanced society, every citizen carries a single identity, which is linked to everything. So in the US, you have the social security number. In the UK, you have a national insurance number. That is unique identity, a single number. Not that you have a driver's license, a international passport, a voter's card. I want to say, you have your identity all over the place. You have a single identity that the state represents and knows where you stay, how many kids you have. They know, they link that to your BVN, your bank account. So we always created interventions of our problem. We can't count ourselves. Anybody can cross along the border, bribe an immigration officer, and automatically becomes a Nigerian. Am I wrong? So the question is, we have to resolve and count ourselves right by crafting an identity structure. We can't plan without that. Every time we've tried to intervene to do that, we've done BVN, but we can't capture it. We've done NIM, but we can't still capture it. We've thought we would do it with the passport, we can't still capture it. Because until we're able to do that, we can now sit down and properly plan what is the income level of everybody, where are the opportunities, and how that comes back to the question of Rebecca Okoye around data. Data is the lifeblood of advanced or developing economies. And until we take advantage of that, we are moving nowhere. So I will leave you to this point that public office has become an opportunity, and that's why you don't see people don't get off that horse. You know, they're a governor today, and they're a senator tomorrow. And when they are bored with that, they're hanging around to be the chairman of the board. Because they like the public resources can't be managed by their own private capital. They can't fly private jets like that. They can't carry 10-8 with them, and they're all saluting them at every time. And so we must understand that we need to safeguard public resources. And that's how we are going to build our alternative. Because until we optimize public resources, until we show that public resources are about service and services, we can't transform this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Oluseun. Please, another round of applause. You made very key statements there. Initially, he said how we see budgeting is always from a point of money instead of from the standpoint of reasoning. And I think that is very apt. And we need to safeguard and optimize our public resources. Thank you so much for that insightful speech. Now we're going to have a very brief interlude. I'm sure that the audience have been buzzing with questions and comments right from when they experienced the enigma of the speech from Professor Lumumba. I'm sure some people are still in that quake. So we're going to have a few people ask questions and comments. Please direct your questions particularly to a particular speaker so that they can respond appropriately. And I will have only 5 hands, please. Do you have any comment? Okay, we have someone in the front. All right, we will maintain gender equality in the hall, so I'll take 3 women and 2 men, if that is correct. All right, please, if we must get somebody come to the middle of the podium to ask his question. I'll take the middle first, please. Please, you introduce yourself and your question or your comment. Straight to the point, please. Do we have another microphone? That's
everybody. My name is Kyle Wibo, and I have this question. We are all inspired. Some of us have been inspired even before we came here. We actually want to participate in the process. But then we have a big challenge. You are challenging these people, and they have money bags, they have the connections, they have the resume, they have all the resources that fit them in the game that they have established and successfully run for the past 2 decades. So as outcomers, how do we challenge these people, especially when you don't have the resources to do that? That's just my question. Thank you.
Would you like anyone in particular to answer that question?
Yes, I think I shall.
All right, thank you. Please, can we have another question before the answer starts? Okay, the lady, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Amaka Fidelis, I am directing this question to the person who spoke about IT and artificial intelligence, and I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to contribute this. The last time there was a little get-together of Center for Strategic Planning, and I was asking the same question. I noticed that in our school curricula, it is just we're trained for a 9-to-5 job. We're trained to pick up a 9-to-5 job. From the youth fora, I understand that when I finish school, I should work. I shouldn't take up entrepreneurship. I shouldn't think of how to run a business and then follow it up to conclusion and see progress. And then, of course, it wasn't included in what we should have learned in school while going to school. So I would ask him, what can we do to add that to our curriculum in school to bring, because we're training up unemployable graduates. We have a lot of people who have gone to school but can't do nothing about what they've gone to school to learn. How can we infuse strategic planning, strategic thinking, and then independent mindset in the education system?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please, can we take the first 2 questions, please? A microphone for the speakers. First question goes to Andrea.
Thanks. The question was, how do we challenge status quo without having resources? Because that's how I summarized it. The easy answer and the hard answer. The real answer is that you're going to have to tap into the most valuable resource that we actually have in dealing with these people, and that's each other. It still comes down to what I said. How many people want to really challenge the status quo? How many of those people can you identify? How can you work together? How can you fund each other? How can you find people with like minds? The truth is, along the way, there are people in this room that just want to replace. There's a difference between replacing. You're replacing to continue the extractive system. You want to replace to change the system. So my hard, the real answer is find like minds, join a political party or a movement, whether it's Red Card, whether it's the force. Join something. There's power in numbers. We keep talking about numbers, but the truth is we never use them effectively. They're just there. The hard work is the numbers, but we're not doing that hard work. So it's not going to be easy. And you're not going to overthrow these people in 2019 if you're just starting. The journey will be long. I know people who spent 20 years building parties, like for example, a colleague in Costa Rica, but he's now finally running for president. But because he put in the hard work. The truth is, there's no easy answer. We're not going to start today and win the election in 8 months. But we can have incremental, we can plan, we can strategize. We're smart people. We've just heard about Nigerians doing wonderful things around the world, but we haven't applied our minds and our innovation to politics and the electoral system. I think when we start doing that, we'll see more progress. Thank you.
Thank you. And the second question goes to Rebecca Okoye. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take your question from 2 points, government and the rest of us. So under normal circumstances, our government is meant to identify where Nigeria will be like in the next 10 years, next 15 years, and start planning. And in the first place, like I said, aspiration of any society must be defined in our educational system. Because this is where the people that will take over from them, well, they weren't thinking about everybody taking over from them, so they didn't go back to the educational system. But ideally, that's what it's supposed to be. So we need to start training people because there's evolution happening. Like every decade, things changes. So we cannot have an educational system that doesn't change. So as of today, this is how our colonial masters wanted us to live. Take instructions, do as I say, and don't take initiative for yourself. We have to accept that's what we have, and then we'll start changing, fitting into what our tomorrow will be. So, first of all, government is meant to look at our aspiration, define it in the educational system. The educational system will bring up those people that will take Nigeria from that point to the next point. But this is where we are today. Now, people are having initiatives individually, organizations are now teaching people skills which will make them think differently. So digital skills, there are a lot of digital skills initiatives going on right now by a lot of organizations, individuals, and all that. Let me be honest with you. It's not going to solve our problem because it's not scalable. But we are trying to boil the ocean. We just need to. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this point is that a lot of people might relax that, okay, if government doesn't want to do it, we can do it. You can't do it. It's the government's job. And that's why we should be prepared to take governance very seriously. It's not our job. It is their job. If they can't do it, we change them. So we need to understand that. I've been jumping from, people who know me, I've been jumping from one university to other. I'm trying to change mindsets. So in the past 2 months, I've gone to like 4 or 5 universities and I'm about to go to 5. These are just individual efforts, a way, paying back. But it's not going to change anything because university systems are controlled by the government. I cannot even change curriculum. That's how bad. But I am praying, what we did was that we are just looking for loopholes in the system where they can create something different and we can use that to give students opportunities. Now, Shane mentioned about research. It's good I mentioned that. What we don't know is that research is supposed to be the point where government updates knowledge and skills of new things. Research is supposed to bring output that will go back to the educational system that is meant to solve our local problems. Since we are not using them, we don't even know what our problems are. So it's key that government has to do their job. Like I mentioned about the roads, we don't know how to fix the road because we don't know what the problem is. Again, this is where government needs to publish open data to tell us that roads built in Elisha does not last more than 2 years. Can people, they are ready to find out why. That knowledge, when it is done, is shared to all educational systems. So the next crop of engineers will not solve the problem and move to the next level.
Thank you so much, Emeka. More questions?
Yeah.
All right, I can't see your hand at the back. Please hand the microphone to the lady. Thank you. Your name and straight to your question, please.
Thank you. My name is Ifi Akimele. I represent Women for Women. The question is directed to Aisha. A very good, encouraging presentation, but you didn't touch, you were not subjective enough as far as I'm concerned. You should have touched on women. What do you advise us to do? Because we're clamoring to get into governance, the road is blocked. What's your own specific advice based on your experience for women so that we can take over? Thank you.
Oh wow. I see the hands coming down. Okay. Anyone else from please? Please your name and your question, sir.
Thank you very much. I am Olawale Okuni, the Director General of Nigeria Intervention Movement, and I must congratulate the organizers of this event. It is also in an interventionist move, and we must appreciate this. And I think politics is deep and deeper than most of us know. It's not just about joining politics. You can join politics and join their party and be frustrated. Those who are alternatives must begin to think of creating alternative political parties, and they must move into it together, because it's about numbers and it's about resources. We can have the resources, but if you ask people here to go and join parties, they go and join those that they are trying to dislodge, and they get frustrated. So the point really is not for us to join politics.
You're right.
It's to define the politics that we want and create our own platform. If you are not ready to create a platform and join it, you are wasting time. And you continue to waste time till the kingdom comes. So it is not for us to come and sit down and sermonize about and talk good grammar. Political strategy is different from church and mosque strategy. They are quite different. You must be practical. You must be at the grassroots. You must play with various mentality, various perceptions, various nuances. You must be able to manage them. It's about numbers. It's about the grassroots. You go to the grassroots to talk to them. You say this is why we must pull together, and this is what essentially we must drive at this forum, to see that a platform that is essentially our home platform, the platform is created. We can seize anyone that exists now. The NIM is there. There are parties that are fresh breed, George Foster exist. Let's rush into it. Let us populate it and make a difference. Thank you.
All right. Please, yes. Your name and your question or your comment. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Chipper. With a very happy heart, I came to congratulate my sister and the directors, the organizers. Congratulations. But my question, please, is to Madam Aisha. Again, because we touched on the word called values. And I'd like you to kindly explain values, ethics, politics, alternative. Thank you.
Please, okay, go ahead.
Let me join to congratulate the organizers and to avoid noise making, to introduce myself as a model that can tell you where we are going, because I have gone through the battle of corruption. In 2005, I was offered a $2 million bribe. Yes, by a foreign company. My name is Dr. Olusegun Itagbemi. Dr. Olusegun Itagbemi. I am into politics now. I retired as a diplomat for the Nigerian government. And it was during that period that this offer was made. And I rejected it in 2005. In March this year, I met Chief Obasanjo in this hall. And I told him how I was punished for rejecting $2 million because I did not allow so many people to collect the same bribe. And I told him that this punishment was because there was no oath of righteousness that was taken. In 2015, I had the opportunity of meeting people printing money for the entire Africa, including Nigerian money. Nigerian money is being printed at a rate of $1 to 8,000 naira. And we brought this information to the Nigerian government. When they said, Buhari will give you a award if he hears this. But they killed the idea and stored some of this money in Ikoyi. I'm sure you know the story now. So we have fought corruption hard. And God says it's only by swearing an oath and that we should establish a party called Justice Must Prevail Party. That when you take this oath and you still wonder that you are dead. God has given us 12 things you cannot do. You cannot steal money, you cannot kill innocent citizens, you cannot speak against Christian or Muslim, you cannot award contract to yourself. We are going to bring the best of our experiences to bear on Nigerian soil. We are going to secure Nigeria with a solid concrete fence that will make sure to be able to count who is a Nigerian and gather the relevant data for development. We are going to bring Nigeria is going to experience great transformation because the love of this nation is not going to be for foreigners. We are not going to be solving other people's problems when we are hungry. Our foreign policy shall be for Nigerians first. Thank you very much. The name of the party is Justice Must Prevail Party. I am the acting national chairman today.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chidera Samuel, and I am an unemployed graduate. That is my introduction. This is my question, very straight to the point. And my question goes to Barrister Aisha. We are looking for an alternative, or rather alternatives. When we get down to these political analysts, for example, if I get down to my community and only declare my intention to contest for a position, just declaration of intentions, you notice that the entire community takes me as their responsibility. Everybody wants, if your wife is pregnant, you call me that the hospital is if your tenant bill is expiring, you call that your tenant bill is expiring. And I have to keep working to ensure that I gather these people's loyalty and their votes and everything. And then when I get back to the government, that is where that money now comes in, because I am borrowing loans to do all these things. Now my question, Barrister Aisha, is how do we eradicate this abundance of misconception that throws down even to the community where we are coming from? Secondly, we already believe in Nigeria that no matter how hard I try as a person, this is a personal belief, no matter how hard I try, government has already been mapped even until 2080. People that will be in government from now to 2080 have already been mapped in Nigeria. That is to say, it's just a generational movement. From Obasanjo is handing over to his first son will hand over to his first son. How do we counter this revolutionary and political conception?
The last question, then we can take more questions. We can take more questions after the speakers. Thank you. Your name and your question.
My name is simply Chike, but I represent persons living with disabilities. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Obi, for getting us all to converge on this hall. My comment, more or less, will be, I don't know if this is premature at this point, but we need to put up our critical thinking cap and involve strategies. The strategic thinking part of getting us to do the work should start now. There are about 700 or 1,000 of us here. If we can get a commitment from every one of us here that will recruit just 100 you see, we'll begin to build a critical mass and get those ones to get another 100. Everything that is going on and being talked about in this hall is very important. But I don't want us to end it all here. And how do we take it from here to that woman in my village, to that man in my local government? I think that is what we should also worry about. So like I said, it may be premature to talk about this now, but it is important that we recognize this fact that we need to take take the message from this hall to the grassroots. 180 million of us cannot be fools. I don't know if your own don't do, but I guess all of us.
All right, let's have answers to the question. I think please the microphone to answer. We have 2 questions to answer. Okay.
The first question is what were I recommend to do when I was meeting, right? The person who asked the question was right. I didn't really talk about that. That's because I don't really, right now, for where we are in terms of our political trajectory and culture, I'm not sure that what keeps women out, admitting patriarchy, admitting the interpretations of religion and all that, but I'm not sure that what keeps women out is specifically designed to keep women out. I think what keeps women out is what keeps all decent people out, which is that the only platform for winning elections or getting electoral power, and even by default appointments, is through the parties, and the parties are not democratic. So honestly, I think that's women's biggest pushback. So what should women be doing? I think women should be at the forefront of what I talked about earlier when I said women, we need reforms. Now, where are the voices of women who want to run in terms of reforms that are needed in elections? Where are the voices of women speaking about what's wrong with the parties? Why do women within the parties accept women leaders to be foisted on them? Why do they restrict themselves to only that position? So I can go on and on and on. So the truth is, I didn't have any special things for women because I think what's keeping women out is what's keeping all these people out. We all have to do more to get more women in the parties. I spent the last couple of months going around schools, and if I like the fact that America said data, and I think also Sharon talked about this, that data is extremely important. We keep saying all these things, but we have no basis for them. So my own experiment with 6 schools shows that young female students, when you compare the number of young female students to young male students who are members of political parties and who have their PVC, were low. Always low. There was only 1 school out of 6 where the women were more than the men in terms of being members of parties. And that was in the southeast, Fruitway. And I can see a link in my mind between that and the fact that if you look at the number of women who have been elected into the National Assembly, the majority come from the southeast. So you see a trend. So if women really want to fundamentally change politics, not replace the people who are there and do the same thing, then you're going to have to do things differently. You're going to have to try and get more young women, more women joining the parties. You're going to have to contest for positions within the parties. And they're going to fight to have different sets of values, different ways of doing things. But there's no magic bullet for women. We are trying to get the Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill passed, which will give us affirmative action. That's great. How many women outside civil society are pushing for that? How many women who are card-carrying members of parties or who have PVCs are lobbying their legislators to make sure they pass that bill? There's just no easy way. It's going to be really, really hard. But for me, those are some of the things that I think women who want to run should be thinking about. I also think in terms of women who want to go into politics, we're seeing a lot more women coming out for 2019. I think that's extremely encouraging. I would say that for those of them who are running under the main parties, the major parties, the twin parties of APC and PDP, watch out for the trick where they tell you they'll give you free forms. It's a double-edged sword. It's a great gift. That's the truth. If you can't raise the money to buy your forms, what's going to happen in some states is that they will restrict you to certain positions. So you might be a woman who wants to run for governor or you want to run for Senate. Your state party office will tell you, my friend, please go and sit down and collect only state assembly forms because it's free, because you're not paid. So we have to make up our mind if we want to continue using these strategies or if we're going to find other strategies. So for me, that's the little that I can say on that. But I advise men to think outside the box and to stop trying to replicate what the men are doing. The men have ruined our politics. And you cannot think that you're going to change the politics by doing the same thing that the men have doing. Mrs. Terry today said I should explain politics, ethics, values, and alternatives. And I felt like that was a trick question. Because really, it does seem like an oxymoron to have politics and ethics in the same sentence. But what do I mean by values? Values means the things that define you, the things that help you navigate the world, the things that make you your principles, the things that you think define who you are and help you be your what's the word I'm looking for? Navigator when you're dealing with things. So somebody just talked about turning down a bribe. It's your values that will help you do that. That's what I think. But I also think that in Nigeria, talking about values is very cheap. We're all people of integrity. I'm sure if I see this entire room, nobody has ever stolen anything, nobody has ever done anything bad. We're all extremely good people. But our country is very bad. The point is that we're not being honest with ourselves. The point is that we look the other way when we see people doing the wrong thing because we want to excuse ourselves. So when we see people doing the wrong thing, we don't take them to task. How many times have I been on a line somewhere in the airport, in the movie theater, where when I ask people to line up, I'm the bad person, and I'm sure maybe some of you have been there at those days, and I think this woman knows too much. Line up. Be orderly. We don't even want to do those things. But everybody points fingers at the government, but we are all part of the problem. So we are going to have to demand more of ourselves before we can demand more of other people. For me, that's what values is. And values is not being afraid. So if you need to have values and integrity, it means that you must be able to be questioned. And like what I see about people in government is that they don't want to be questioned. What I say about people in authority, they don't want to be questioned. You have to be ready to be questioned if you really are a person who has integrity and you have values. And the last thing I'll say about that is that yes, it does seem like, especially after listening to my older brother, Sheikh Vera, talk about the trenches, and he makes it seem as if we're all very romantic. And besides, please don't listen to me, I'm a failed politician. I didn't even win my primary, so who am I to give advice to anybody? It's true. But if we continue doing politics with no values, we'll continue getting more of the same. That's true. We've been doing politics without values for years, and it hasn't paid us. So we can't be afraid to say we want to do different. And I think we have the numbers. Again, the hard work is finding the numbers. And then the last question, which was like a double-barreled one, was about dealing with the interests, the costs of running for office, the fact that once you declare for office, everybody thinks you have a bottomless pit of money somewhere. I don't know what to say. Yes, exactly. If you read Lord Does Win Elections, I'm pushing my book, you will find all the things I had to do to raise money. But there's two things to the gentleman who talked about. You can raise money. I think the essence of running a good campaign and the essence of running a different campaign is that to understand that yes, politics is expensive. It's expensive all over the world. We like to look to the US, for example. If you look at how much Obama had to raise, or how much Hillary had to raise, or how much Trump had to raise, they all use other people's money. How many of us are using other people's money? Not one godfather or two godfathers, but other people's money in the sense that the people you hope will vote for you will donate to your campaign. That's what happens in civilized countries. So the good news is that if I could raise almost 10 million naira in less than 6 weeks towards, and me, I'm a novice, not even a politician, but I managed to raise that. It tells you that if you're serious, if you have the brand, if people identify with your values, that's where values comes in. Your values help other people say, this is the kind of person I am, or this kind of person who is like me, and I want to help that person. That's how I managed to raise money for my campaign in 2014. So, but you cannot just sit down and think that the money will come to you. The other thing I want to say about the grassroots and it comes to America's data and Sharon's data, honestly, I don't know because I don't like gives us these numbers. But we keep hearing, I've heard for years that the votes come from the villages, from the rural areas. Is it true? I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm standing here in all honesty. I don't know. But can we challenge this knowledge or this narrative? Because I keep looking, we said that we have what, 40, how many million young people? Are they in the villages or are they in the cities? No, it's true. Let's do the hard work of what the numbers tell us. Instead of fighting and bashing our heads against the wall with people in the villages who want to do solar infrastructure, and I'm saying that all sense of responsibility. The people in the villages who do solar infrastructure, there's two ways of looking at them. They are accomplices. They are helping to corrupt the system. They're not victims. They're part of the problem. And they'll continue being part of the problem. That's one way of looking at them. The other way of looking at them is that they're jaded, they've been abused, they've been in a long abusive relationship with the Nigerian state and have lost trust in the state. And so they want to just take what they can and go. Either of these two scenarios, they're not going to change their minds with radio ads. They're not going to change their minds with sending them ads or videos. My own answer to this dilemma is, where are their children? Everybody listens to their children. So can we take a break from focusing madly on the rural areas? Can we focus on young people? The young people are not predominantly the ones who are against solar infrastructure. It's not from the pictures I see of the women on the lines collecting rice. So why can't we spend our time and energy focusing on young voters and encouraging them, telling them how their future is at stake? And maybe enough of them will go and sell this message to the village. And in civil society, I've spoken to strangers, random women. They're not going to believe me no matter how many hours I spend in the sun with them. They don't know me from Jack. So let's stop wasting our time. Let's stop doing the same thing over and over again and start thinking of more innovative ways of bringing out the votes. There are entire industries dedicated to bringing out the votes, rocket the votes, all sorts of things. Where are the young people? We keep saying that we have millions and millions of young people and the majority. Your future is at stake. You are the ones who should be voting. You are the ones who should be convincing your parents not to take the money. Strangers can't do that for you. So for me, that's the answer. That we're going to have to stop doing things the same way. We're going to have to try and rely on data, voter data. We're going to have to force INEC to release that data. How many of our registered voters are men? How many are women? How many are educated? How many are in rural areas? When we get, that's what Cambridge Analytica is looking for. They use that type of data to influence messaging. We don't have to wait for Cambridge Analytica to do that for us. We can do it ourselves. So for me, those are the opportunities that Cambridge should be looking at. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Now to respond to GK's question is Dr. Obez Emerson. Do you have one?
Wow, it looks like we're engaged, huh? That's really good. That's really good. And that was the idea behind this. Chike asked a very important question, which is basically, are we here to just have another talk shop? Because if it's just a talk shop, then, pass me on that. Because we don't need another talk shop.
Absolutely.
What we have done is to think in a very strategic way of the issues that would enable us move toward a different mindset of organizing the ideals of this alternative set of issues that develop a country. It was Lee Kuan Yew that said that no country can grow beyond the quality of its leaders. The same Lee Kuan Yew was a contemporary of many of our nationalists. In fact, he was in school with some of them in Cambridge. He died still offended at the fact that somehow his African compatriots or colleagues or what do you call them? Contemporaries. I think my English at contemporaries. Contemporaries I was looking for. That his contemporaries from Africa had dropped the ball somehow. Because how could he? They need me to face. Yes. You will understand why I gave this man this paper. Because he's a special guest speaker, Professor Bayo Olukoshi. When you listen to him tomorrow, he will come and look for me and give me salute. So he was not happy with his African contemporaries. He wondered how he could have turned Singapore from a blighted corner shop. That's the way Malaysia looked at Singapore. They kicked them out. There's too much trouble. Just go. Nobody gave them a chance. And I have heard some Nigerians say, oh, how can you compare Singapore with Nigeria? The population. One of the things we found out in research is that population is not a condition for good economic management. The second thing that we found out about people who say, oh, you're talking about Singapore, they don't have the ethnic situation that we have. Lie. They have a very tough one, actually. You've got the Malay, you've got the Indian, the Euro-Indians, you've got the Chinese, you've got the Thai. It was terrible. But a leader that could manage the diversity understood how to turn their diversity into strength. Some others would say that, Singapore is within a zone where there have been other developments that happen. Well, let me tell you, the Chinese decided to move in the direction of new economic thoughts because they watched what was going on in Singapore. And the nationalist leaders of China wondered, how did this small country become a power? It's a 2-day summit. It's going to be the day when the political class that are saying they look like an alternative will be put under the scrutiny of what makes for me an alternative. If it quacks like a dog, right? And then it does work like a dog. It wags its tail like a dog. And then it quacks like a dog. It waddles like a dog. It quacks like a dog. And then there's a third thing it does. You know without any doubt that it is a dog. So when we have tomorrow's summit and you begin to listen, you can tell immediately that this belongs to the old. You may have a new acronym, but this is the old. August, sit down. Madam, sit down. There are some ideals that will resonate with us, and that will be what we call that alternative. The alternative is actually a state of the mind that disrupts the existing paradigm of acceptance of lowly outcomes, the acceptance of average as excellent. When we are true with ourselves, we will see the number of us that totally believe that the journey to the alternative is possible. And that's when the strategy jumps at us. Because a strategy will surely come for the citizens who make up the office of the citizen to define the new Nigeria of our dream and the way that our kind of leadership would herald it. Is that a good way to go? Yes. The last question was about, Aisha was speaking and was saying something about data. On the second day, one of the presentations you're going to listen to, we call it election arithmetic. It speaks to what she was saying. It's about the data analysis of why you should not stay with the old thought that has been dished around and we have come to accept. We're questioning all things that can be questioned, and we're going to disrupt all disrupting.
So I think that's a fair need for you to be here the next day, approximately. All right, we will be going on with our speakers just before we take any more questions and then go for lunch break. The next speaker will be speaking on agriculture, productivity for economic diversification of the modern Nigeria. She is the CEO of the Center for Study and Resolution of Domestic Violence, located in Kakor, Kaduna State, which is a product of her internship at various shelters for victims of domestic violence in Iowa, United States of America. In recent times, Hawa's interests have included diversification into organic farming, and she is the CEO of Everdex Organic Farms, located at Dampende, Igabi, local government area of Kaduna State. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Hawa Evelyn Yusuf.
Good afternoon, everyone. I like cities where there are no protocols. Perhaps because I am a teacher and an agriculturist. When my topic was given, considering my background as a criminologist and an expert in gender issues, I was like, who gave these people information about my agricultural pursuits? When you are looking for an alternative, I told Auntie Obi that I am the first alternative. And I'll tell you why. As a university professor who is into criminology, a lot of people will not imagine me in the agricultural world. And I ask myself, why should all of us, and I think this will answer a question that was thrown earlier, why should all of us just go to the classrooms, and after the classrooms we go to the offices and back to our homes to sleep, and expect someone out there to be the one that produces our food? And how else will this food that is being produced going to be exactly what we need? This is an alternative because I am not just into agricultural production. I am into organic agriculture. I ask a lot of people who say they are into organic agriculture this question: how organic is your organic? Because everybody comes up and say, I am an organic farmer. And you go to their farms and you still find them giving, if they are bird farmers, they still give the Gamboro, they still give the SOTA, they still give the bottled vitamins. Sorry, I don't know the name of those things because I have refused to use any of those things in my farm. What I know that is good for my health and the health of my immediate family and Nigeria at large is what I use in my farm. What I find in my farm is moringa, ginger, turmeric, garlic, and you may also find the neem, the popularly one called dogonyaru. And again, if you have to use ginger or maize farmed by other farmers, to what extent is the ginger you are buying or the turmeric you are buying not fertilized? So it goes back to the fact that it is no longer organic. So I also farm the maize with which I made the feeds for my farm. And I ensure that I use the droppings of the birds from my farm. This is to ensure that when I sell to you and I say it is organic, you know that it's truly organic. Agriculture, since the dawn of history, has played a unique role in ancient civilization. Survival of individuals and society depends largely on the products of agriculture. Even in the foreseeable future, it will continue to play the very important role in the growth and development of our nation. The neglect of agriculture, in practical terms, has been the doom of our nation. There are a lot of laudable policies in paper. Governments come in day and out, and we had in Nigeria Operation Feed the Nation. We had Green Revolution. And then came the Directorate of Food and Rural Infrastructure. And farmers' return, despite all these policies, have continued to decrease decimally or geometrically. And I ask, why these policies? We have a lot of researches done in our research institutes. I learned Ibadan has more than 6 research institutes. Zaria has a handful of research institutes. And they do researches on different seeds and seedlings. And at the end of the day, the ordinary farmer is unable to purchase these seedlings. Why then can't we go back to the era when our forefathers created their seedlings and they were the best kind of species? Why buy a hybrid seedling that you will always need the packaged fertilizers to grow, or else they wouldn't thrive? Farming is no longer attractive to the young generation. A sister who spoke earlier had said that they are being brought up in the universities and schools to go out in search of jobs and not be job creators. We are looking for an alternative. We need to move away from the belief that the only source of income we can get is to have a paid job. My Yoruba brothers will usually call the salary a name. Salary. Salary. We just see it. It comes in with the right hand and it goes out the next second. Can a country develop depending on salary? A few companies, very powerful companies and highly placed individuals, have plunged themselves into agriculture. But the question is, their concentration are on cash crops and not on food crops. And as such, the Nigeria who could feed itself in the early days have to depend on packaged food that comes in from outside. The rice. In fact, some of the chicken and the chicken parts and the turkeys we eat come packaged. Lagos people, I don't envy you. Now, we are talking about how agriculture can become a standard alternative in the next electoral process. And I say, our elections are recurrent decimals in any democratic process. And it gives room for the assessment of policies, programs, in powers, as well as individuals in government, particularly those in executive and legislative arms. Elections should call for assessment and review of manifestos of political parties and politicians. Debates on electioneering campaign to offer opportunities to reassess old issues and present ones, looking at contemporary objectives and realities. The key agricultural issues for the next election, number one, is should our focus be on capital-intensive agriculture or labor intensive. We have 60% of Nigerians are between the ages of 25 and that bracket we refer to as youth. These youths roam the town because they don't have jobs. So, if you continue to make policies that are capital intensive and not labor intensive, how do we have access to these tools and implements that are so capital intensive? So the nation should be allowed, in the course of debates and electioneering campaigns, to agree on whether the emphasis should be on labor intensive or capital intensive agricultural practices. For me, the labor intensive strategy should be largely adopted. Key agricultural issues in the next election, number 2. There is a need to make the youth the focal point in agricultural improvement or empowerment. Political parties and those contesting for various offices and positions should be made to give the electorate blueprints on how to mobilize the youth and sustain their participation in agriculture. Political parties and those aspiring for various offices should have cells that focus on improved agriculture practices at the village and community level. I'm a very strong advocate of political food soldiers. I have a publication online on political foot soldiers. I did not say food, but foot. People who can go into the hinterland where the motorbikes and the cars can never go. And this refers to our youth in the villages. We need them to be engaged to be able to carry home the vision of an alternative to this office work and thereby reduce the influx of our youth from the villages to these so-called centers where there are no job opportunities for them. The rural areas possess the land for which agriculture will thrive. But by the time the strong bodies move away from the hinterland and they come to stay with you and I in Abuja, for those who live in Abuja, then there is trouble. Because we will continue to have to eat the junk that is being imported into our country. My key agricultural issue, number 3, is that there is the need for the formation of cooperatives. Political parties and aspirants to offices must put forward strategies to encourage and sustain cooperative societies of farmers at local government and state levels. During debates and campaigns, the importance of these cooperatives being inclusive must be emphasized. Any cooperative society that is inclusive in principle and practice should not just be motivated, but given all the necessary tools to be successful. And then I'll come back to the issue of organic farming. For this is the alternative that I present. For us to be able to get 50%, being over ambitious here, of our farmers to go organic, there's the need for us to spread the information about organic farming from the village, district, and state level. We need to procure and distribute to the youth and cooperative societies information about organic farming. Encourage governments at different levels to boost organic farming by way of enlightenment, training, and conferences. There is a need for us to organize conferences where we all can be trained on the rudiments of organic farming. Yes, I flunked organic farming, but I tell you, it is not an easy one. I mean, my first attempt, I lost 1,600 birds within 2 weeks. Why? Because they were coming out from the use of chemicals, and I was trying to detoxify the system to bring it to non-chemical production. There is a need to educate the people on the benefits of organic farming to human beings. A lot of us clamor for organic products, but we really don't know what is the benefit of organic products in our day-to-day consumption. Organic farming in the area of animal husbandry, in the area of plants and trees, in the area of poultry. I talk a lot about the poultry one because I'm more versed with that. There's a need to get stock from reliable and very good companies. And again, I have devised a means of creating my own stock. And because of that, I have incubators and I am breeding my own birds that will produce the egg that will give me the day olds. So I don't have to buy those ones that have been pre-vaccines before they are delivered to my farm. Get a piece of land or a good place to use. Get all necessary tools, materials. Read from the internet. Now I am touching on the data issue. Read from the internet how to grow your own organic poultry. Join the right group of organic farmers and learn from them. Improve your knowledge every day. Study and know the available plants, trees in your environment that you blend with your feeds. Know the right quality and quantity. Study and know the available local antibiotics you can use to produce the necessary medication for your birds. Try to stock these local antibiotic leaves, roots, etc. at the right time. Like I said earlier, turmeric, every one of us have been taught to use turmeric, either for your skin, for your hair, or even as an intake. Garlic is the most excellent antibiotic you can find all over the world. Cinnamon, a lot of us take cinnamon tea. And when I say cinnamon, don't go and buy the one that they have put inside sachet to go to the market, buy the cinnamon, in fact, go to Aboki and buy what they call cinnamon. You can never guarantee that that packaged one is cinnamon. Ginger, moringa. We all take moringa. At a particular point, the moringa trees were crying because everybody wants to take moringa. Plant your own. On your flower bed in your house, the moringa will thrive very well. Guava leaves, ugu, grapes, and oregano. These are things that are available every day. You need to wake up to the fact that you can take care of yourself. Organic eggs and chicken gives you low-level cholesterol intake, makes you healthier, and makes you live longer. So stop looking for that medication. Let what you eat be the beginning of the search for the alternative. Change what you eat. It will affect how you think, and it will affect how you govern if you get the opportunity to govern. If you want to be a good leader, you must create in those people you're going to lead the ability to be able to take care of themselves first and foremost. If we have a healthy body and we have a large number of youths that are healthy, I tell you, Nigeria is going to be healthy again. My challenge here is that for those of us who wear sophisticated clothes, makeups, and we roam around one way or the other, how many of you are ready to go back to the farm? In addition to what you do for a living, I tell you, try farming. It has paid off for me. In most cases, I tell people, don't call me professor, just call me
Hawa Yusuf, the organic farmer. That is who I am. And I tell you, don't make the mistake of saying your farm hands should compose your drugs for you. Do it by yourself. Get a blender. Put it in your house. Do it. The Hausa man says, Kiama. There is no need for you to run away from what you do. Flaunt it. I flaunt what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hawa Yusuf, the organic farmer. Thank you. Please a round of applause for her. All right, I will quickly call to the podium Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. Please a round of applause for that, please.
Today's session is almost over. In the course of today's session, we listened to Professor Lumumba, then we listened to Emeka Okoye, then we listened to Aisha Osoro. Now, Emeka Okoye's presentation was to give us a picture of the present reality that the rest of the world is already adjusting itself to. Because the topic says governance and prosperity in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. The reality that we must take away with us is that there actually is a country called Norway. Norway has stashed up $1 trillion in its oil fund. The same Norway, by latest 2025, would have more than 20% of the cars running on electric power. They've already gone off. China is on the fast pace for that development also. All of the countries that signed on to the Copenhagen Agreement on climate change have redirected the use of energy to renewable options. May it not get to the point where we're left with our oil to drink as a way of keeping body and soul together. So the picture of the fourth industrial revolution, what Emeka did not say to us is that it could actually be the best opportunity for an exponential leap of our continent and our country. It could be. But as he said, there are certain kinds of government thought process that would align us to the fourth industrial revolution. There's been the agricultural revolution, we weren't part of it. The industrial revolution, we weren't part of it. Then the ICT revolution, we became part of something. But we've been mostly consumers of it. But even the consumption of it has made a difference. We attribute some of Africa's economic takeoff in terms of economic growth rate. Some digit of it is accountable for what happened in the telecom sector of the continent. So the telecom revolution is considered Africa's first revolution. And now, the fourth industrial revolution is here with us. It is not just about the robotics and the AI's, artificial intelligence. It's the fact that it's going to be a world of Internet of Things. Internet of Agri, Internet of Health, Internet of your bedroom, Internet of your living room, Internet of Things. We're going to be in a society, in a global society, where the blockchain technologies will define the basis of solving problems. We're going to be in a place where we go from data to big data, to simulation science. It's a world. That's the world. That's the world in which our children will compete. The 2.3% that we add to our population every year must be prepared for that world. You know, when Emeka was talking, I just went to my phone to remind myself about something. And I would just tell you about it because he said a lot about education. I was Minister of Education of this country from 2007, right? So this must be 11 years ago. At that time, one of our reforms was an initiative that was with global greats like Intel, Microsoft, Cisco Systems, and Oracles in order to establish academies in Nigeria to help us anticipate the global demand of skills in technology. How many years ago? I shall keep my mouth shut. We listened to Emeka Okoye. We listened to Hawa Yusuf talking to us about agriculture. I think that the essence of her speech is essentially that if we think in an alternative kind of paradigm, that agriculture becomes not simply something that government does, it becomes something that is part of our journey toward productivity. And that her emphasis on organic agriculture is in line with the global norm that we're going to. Actually, one of the things we saw in research that is part of my team when I was in the development institution is that Africa is going to suffer the most on climate change from the window of agricultural practices. So if our agriculture is reorganized to be organic type agriculture, that changes the paradigm of the impact that climate change would have on it. Everything about organic agriculture begins to focus on the matter of sustainability. And if you know, the conversation in today's world is sustainability. That's why you have sustainable development goals, no longer millennium development goals. So sustainability. And the fact that women in agriculture is an important part of creating an economically inclusive society. Because data shows that of the more than 60% of Nigerians that are within the poverty bracket, 60% of them are women. Of these 60% that are women, more than 80% of them are involved in what you call self-sustaining. You have my English again. Subsistence family. And so, if you're going to radically change the productivity conversation in agriculture, you must begin to think of productivity in terms of the individual actor and actress within the agriculture space. So, thank you, Hawa, for your presentation. Then we heard from Aisha Oshori. We heard from Aisha Oshori, who really wowed us. So, because she was talking not just in terms of the theoretical construct, but her observation because of her participation. And she was challenging every one of us. And I think that challenge will stir something in us. And then Shehu Onigbide You know, just the fact that the budget of this country and the budget of some of the states of the country that they are focused on suddenly have some measure of openness is progress. Is it not? It is progress. And that it is not just that those budgets are available for citizens to see. It is the quality of citizen analysis that enables a conversation on them. Because the truth is that there are three important things that lead to development if you organize them well. If you organized your policies well, you would have sound policies, critical for development. If you created your foundation for governance on the rule of law, you would build institutions that are dynamic, institutions that are strong. That's number two. Number three is that if you understood how to select your priorities, you would engage in investments that would create the environment for your citizens to be productive. So three things: institutions, investment, and sound policies. And in that regard, what is very clear is that for Nigeria, for as long as our investment, which is through our budget, is nothing to write home about, a third of the three things we need is in trouble. Isn't that so? Yes. Then, how about strong institutions? Do we have that?
No.
How about sound policies? Do we have that?
No.
That explains to you why our condition is how it is. And that's part of why you're here. So I want to end today's summit by telling you that tomorrow we're going to have a really good conversation. Professor Bayo Olukoshi is going to speak to us on, for legitimacy, democracy must deliver results of governance to the people. If people who say they are part of the alternative want to go to government for the sake of going to government, his speech is going to say to them that that is a misnomer. To go to government, you must deliver results to the people. That's the basis of legitimacy. So we'll hear that tomorrow. Fatima Askira, who was able to make a flight to us, will be speaking on governance, human capital, and post-conflict reconstruction in the country. And then we would have presentations by our SOTA partners. We would have presentations on citizens' leadership recruitment criteria. Then we would have presentation on the new Nigeria of our dream, a critical analysis. Then we would have a governance vision, a new social contract for the new Nigeria of our dream. And then we would have elections, counting the numbers. And our political class that consider themselves the new alternative will then get into panels. First panel will be ideology, vision, and manifesto. You see, the way we organized it, you have listened to what could be a different Nigeria, right? So when they now come up here and they begin to speak as if there's hot potato in their mouth, you know that there is no quality of thought toward all the things that you have heard. Isn't that so? It's the process of the office of the citizen. It is. And then internal democracy of parties. Have we known what that means in this country? No. It is because of the lack of internal democracy of parties that you really don't have parties that properly so-called are parties according to global norms in democracy and political parties as a construct. And then the third thing would be candidate selection process. We're going to listen to that. And ladies and gentlemen, if I were you, I would not miss tomorrow. Because tomorrow will then lead us to that pathway that Chike was talking about. Because tomorrow starts the journey toward identifying our credible alternatives and how we as citizens will begin to be the voice that will define on the basis of arithmetics, election arithmetics, in other words, the data of participation in the voting process, how we can define a new narrative concerning our country, Nigeria. Tomorrow also we will get the only speaker today who couldn't finally make it. He was earlier here, but he had to do something. Don Pedro Okoji is going to speak on governance beyond oil. There are some of you that will be sitting in this hall waiting for your own time to go and enjoy the oil money. We're going to talk to you about governance beyond oil. You see, because guys, everybody can sit and allocate oil money. Is that not so? Yeah, but that's not the story of the alternative. The alternative is about beyond oil. And that's part of what we're going to do tomorrow. On this note, let me invite the co-partners, all of our partners. I did not talk about Nigeria first when I talked about our partners. So, will you please come up? Yes. Nigeria first is this is a body, this is a citizens movement that has been very long in putting forward the thought that it would actually be a different Nigeria from the Nigeria that we see, the Nigeria that we're locked into. They have basically been a citizens movement driving conversation, very, very serious conversation, on a new direction for everything that has to do with politics and governance in our life. So he's going to get the time to speak. The next person that I want to invite up is Samson Itodo. Is this here? Samson Itodo, is this, you know? He's ready to run. I don't need to introduce him more. You all know what the Yaga has been able to do. And then I'm going to invite Yemi Adanole. Enough is enough. Right? So Yemi and the kind of work, you see her, she's a carton of trouble. But, she doesn't immediately, her ear doesn't show that. But God help you, if enough is on the matter, and you think you're going to knock them out. And then, of course, the CBD, is it Austin that's here, or something? Hidayat is here. Where is Hidayat? We got to get her, if she's here. She is here? Okay, we need Hidayat. Hidayat, I already spoke about CBD. And then we have Shehu Onibinde. Shehu Onibinde is already. And then we have Red Card Movement. And I'm going to call Tony Okebono to please come. And what they will do is to take some 2 minutes, we'll soon be out of here, 2 minutes to give some words to you as we prepare ourselves for tomorrow's very intense session. Are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Yes.
Did we manage to make you okay today? Yes. That's was it there's something where this acronym WILT, what does it mean? What does it mean? What I learned today Was there anything you learned today? Yes. Very good. Tomorrow will be even more interesting.
WIIFM.
Pardon?
Tomorrow will be WIIFM.
Indeed.
What is the date for me?
They don't want the politics of what is the need for me. I thought you were going to talk about something sensible.
No, the it is very in quotes.
Yeah.
Right.
What is in it?
It. Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? And
What work am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Now you're talking.
So what work am I supposed to do?
Indeed. Now I can shake your hand. Okay, over to you, please.
Please, I'm going to ask, I have 1 minute, 2 minutes. I'm going to ask a question. The answer will be either wise, stupid, or very stupid. Okay? Now, a man has 2 eyes. He's a learned person and very exposed and everything. And he gets into a bus driven by a blind man. Is that man wise, stupid, or very stupid? Please you don't know where I'm going. Be careful trying to answer. 1 minute gone, please, my time. Second, a guy is outside. He sees through the window strangers raping his mother. He takes his phone, starts to tweet, starts to criticize, starts to complain. Meanwhile, the mother is almost at the point of death. Is that guy wise, stupid, or very stupid? My time is up. I will give you the interpretation tomorrow. You are sitting down here telling me how a new Nigeria is difficult, and you call yourself a wise man. You are This afternoon, Professor Lumumba charged us and asked a very fundamental question. Nigeria, where is thy greatness? And I think reclaiming our greatness and reclaiming our destiny as a country and as a people begins and ends with fixing politics and leadership. And this is what this is about. When we talk about not young to run and ready to run, it's simply disrupting this politics and fixing this country. It's not just at the national level, but at the state and at the local level. And citizens are rising up to reclaim our greatness as a country. And colleagues and fellow Nigerians, there is no going back. There is no going back. There is nothing stopping us as a people. But my generation, for those who belong to the older generation, I'd just like to announce to you that my generation is ready. Because we don't have a choice. We must fix this country. And so we shall. And I hope that tomorrow we can have deeper conversation on how do we recruit leadership. The leadership that enables us to take responsibility for our future. The leadership that enables us to tell every voter that you are indeed a leader as you go cast your vote. That is that mentality that we need as a people. And I'll just end by quoting one of Bob Marley's songs. That we need to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. This is what this is about.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll follow up from where Samson left off. Aisha referenced it when she spoke, when she said that we're not honest. And I mean, there's a famous William Shakespeare quote that says, "To thine own self be true." So Samson started, let's emancipate ourselves, everybody finished it. But are we ready for the work? Let's make no mistakes about this new alternative in Nigeria of our dreams. It is hard work. Hard, as we said, very, very stupid. It is very, 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 very hard work. And we need to be honest about if we want to make the sacrifices that we need to make. And if we are not, it's fine. My friends know me. They don't call me to vent or rant. I'm not here for that. If you call me, we're having a conversation about solutions, what are we going to do, what role are we going to play? And that's the question I leave for you this morning as we end today, or this afternoon, as we end today and look forward to tomorrow. What sacrifice am I willing to make? What role am I willing to play? We're not pointing fingers, you should have, they should have, they didn't. What am I willing to do? And it ties with the campaign that Antiope helped us really, has helped us flesh out a lot, the office of the citizen. We say it is the highest office in the land because everybody that has an office, elected or appointed, it's because of us. And they work for us. Now, until we understand that every politician, doing good or bad, is accountable to me and has to answer to me because I pay his or her salary, and we own that office, that, you know what, it's not because you are president or senator, no. You are there because of us. And when citizens understand that, and we're then ready to make the sacrifices to implement that, then we will have the Nigeria we want. Thank you.
All right, so you heard my voice before, so I will still take it up from what you said. Building the Nigeria of our dreams is very, very, very hard. And we will be very, very patient, and there will be readiness for long suffering. Why I say so is because, and we must ask ourselves, are we ready to put our 2 feet, our feet inside this? Because it's going to take our resources. I'm a numbers man, somehow. It takes 6,000 people to win an election in Osun, Ekiti, and Bonny for a State House of Assembly member. 6,000 people win elections, State House of Assembly, in states like Osun, Ekiti, and Bonny. And so, how hard it is for us to get 6,000 votes, 5,000 votes, sometimes 11,000 votes. I did the numbers for Oyo North, which I'm interested in. 11,000, 8,000, 6,000. So it's not that hard. It's just that we don't pay attention to the numbers. And we also don't, and we are not ready to commit our resources. So if tomorrow we are not going to have access to the public treasury to build Nigeria of our dreams, we are not going to have access to the public treasury to build the alternative. In fact, if you study Nigeria's history, right from 60s, our leaders have always been in trouble because they mix public treasury and politics together, right from the Coca Commission of 1962. So for me, it is still the same problem till now. There is fuel subsidy, there is Boko Haram's money. We are going to dip our hands into our pockets to build the Nigerians of our dreams. Are we ready? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry for coming late. But I think importantly, we've been talking about building the Nigeria of our dream. But we are our dream. That is where I come from. We are our dream. Today, when we look at all the stories in Nigeria, they are not positive. But again, there are positives that are happening. And those little positives have actually been pushed by who? We. Yesterday, we had the beautiful story about the hen sacks. It took an hashtag. From online to offline, we saw change. The same about the not young to run, the same about the open mass. Call it disaggregated, not as disaggregated as we wanted. We still had a glimpse of what the budget of the National Assembly looks like. In all these oceans, there has been positives. And who has actually made those positives to happen? It's been nobody but the citizens. And that is where, in the last couple of years, I've always made everything about what I do. And what we do at the CGD also is always been about the quality of citizenship. we improve the quality of citizenship, then the quality of governance will definitely improve. And it is already happening. And 2019 belongs to us. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. And all, anyone to say, can they just say something that I've just observed practically? Look around you. This auditorium. For an event, I've noticed went to the public, basically less than a week. Auditorium filled to the brim. The gallery filled. Outside, if you go out there, filled. Citizens are ready to fill. You and your family. What tells you, you will rarely see the decadent political class here. We are ambiguous in our position. We are taking that bold step as patriotic citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ready to confront those people who have held us back. We call them the decadent political class. We are fearless, we remain fierce. We will keep moving until we take them out. For those who say it's not going to be 2019, we don't belong here. It's going to happen. We will take them out because Nigeria must leave. And if you see people, when you look around, most of the speakers, they mention APC and BDP. That's what we say, they need to go out. They have their card, they need to go out. That's what we're saying. That's why it's an alternative. If anybody asks you where are the alternatives, tell the person, look in the mirror, you see the alternatives. Where are the alternatives? And we are going to take them out because we comprise over 99% of the population. How can a minority who knows the ransom? What's wrong with us? Let's go on, we're ready tomorrow, we're going to speak to you tomorrow. And give the strategies that we're going to deploy on the field to make this happen. Thank you, Mr. President.
You know, there's so much thanks due to all of you. So I need you to just please applaud yourselves. I leave you with a quote that you continue to think about as you leave. A certain David Carradine said, there is an alternative. There's always a third way. And it's not a combination of the other two ways. Did you get that? You know what he said? It is a different way. And then a woman who made great wealth through cosmetics, Mary Kay Ash, great businesswoman of America. The Mary Kay Cosmetics, I'm sure the women know what I'm talking about. She said, for every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. And then, my final quote is from David Kahneman, a psychologist. He said, alternative descriptions of the same reality evoke different emotions and different associations. Did you get that? Alternative descriptions of the same reality evoke different emotions and different associations. The association that you have chosen to belong to today is the one that says there can be an alternative. And you know what? Because Daniel said that, I am here standing on behalf of all of us partners of this SOTA as a program, as an entity, to say to those of our work to come and all of that. So when you come in tomorrow, you're going to work. You're going to work in when you come tomorrow. So please applaud our MC again.
Alright, please, let's not be quick to stay out of the way. We have lunch. We have lunch outside, so please. Okay, there are 4 points for lunch outside, so please,